impact alert with more rain headed to our already saturated desert. This is video from Sky 12 over Rainbow Valley, which is near Buckeye, where the search continues for a man believed to have been swept away by floodwaters. And just a few minutes ago, Maricopa County just got a severe thunderstorm warning. Welcome everyone to 12 News at 1. I'm Tram Mai. We have live team coverage for you on these dangerous storms, and it's not over yet. Our Jade Cunningham will have more on the search for that missing man. But first, we want to get straight to meteorologist Chris Dunn. And Chris, how long does that severe thunderstorm warning last?
For another 30 minutes or so, Tram. This is mainly affecting the East Valley, basically from downtown Phoenix through Mesa and Gilbert, Fountain Hills and Scottsdale area. This is the box that we're talking about. Severe thunderstorm warning until 1:30 this afternoon because of this little ball of energy right here. There's a core of intense rainfall that's going through Guadalupe and Albuquerque right now, and it is moving up to the north. So Tempe, watch out. Scottsdale, it's on the way. Severe thunderstorm warning with this, and you're likely going to see some hail out of this along with the intense rain. The good news is it's not going to last very long, so it is going to put down a lot of rain in a short amount of time, but it's going to be on its way. So from Gilbert to Sun Lakes, Chandler, again, knocking on the back door of Tempe, just south of the US 60 and just south of Tempe Town Lake right now, but it is heading in that direction. In fact, here's a storm track on it in the next 8 or 9 minutes or so into Tempe, about 120 for Scottsdale, and Carefree 154. That also includes the Fountain Hills area. And we're also watching a little batch of some showers out here crossing over the Estrella Mountains into Avondale and Goodyear in the West Valley. So there's more redevelopment down here to the southwest that's pulling up into the valley, and the timing is just about right for what we were expecting. Don't want to discount what's happening out here to the east, approaching Kearney and Globe and the Miami and Superior, Claypool areas that have been hit hard over the last week or so. And there is more rain on the way, but the same deal with this. It's going to be intense rainfall, but it's not going to last a tremendously long time, but it doesn't have to last a long time to produce some really bad effects for that part of Gila County. So watch out for the flooding potential there. All of this dark green shaded area here, this is kind of an enhanced area of severe thunderstorms. But as we go into tomorrow, no thunderstorms at all. A totally different weather setup and the weather situation. This is from South or North Mountain looking down to the south. There's downtown right here. And this is the severe thunderstorm we're talking about, kind of on the east side of South Mountain and moving up to the north. So Guadalupe, Albuquerque, just north of Maricopa, Sun Lakes, Chandler. And again, moving up to the Tempe and South Scottsdale area. Those are going to be the areas under the gun for some hail, possibly some damaging hail, and strong gusty winds up to about 60 miles per hour. 66-degree dew point. It is still really muggy and tropical out there. 83 degrees in Phoenix right now. How much longer is this going to last? Well, through 2, 3, and about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Temperatures holding steady right around 80 with a chance of thunderstorms around. After about 5 or 6 o'clock this evening, we will shut things off and turn down the chance of these storms, and the sun goes down just before 6 o'clock, and then we're in for a much quieter evening. Flood watch remains in effect until 8 o'clock. We'll take another look at the radar, keep tracking those storms through the valley, and your 7-day forecast later in this hour of news. Tram?
And Chris, you talk about where it is hitting hard right now in the southeast valley. Take a look at this. This is a live look from our weather tracker here. It's looking east on the US 60, and you can see visibility is to a minimum here. Look at all that rain that is just coming down. It almost seems as though those windshield wipers aren't moving fast enough. You can't even see the street signs there, the highway signs at all. And in fact, you can see a lot of the cars just slowing down a lot. On the very left-hand side earlier, I saw one of some vehicles actually having their emergency flashers on. So that's really how dangerous it is. And you can just tell that these cars are not moving fast at all for fear of hydroplaning. It's such a serious situation right there. We're giving you a look right now at one of our ADOT cameras, and you can see some of that rain coming down here. Obviously, a lot of dark clouds and still people moving. It's not as bad, the traffic, as it was in that earlier shot off the US 60, but still so dangerous. This is at the 101 and Chandler. Chris, did you want to say something?
Yeah, storm tracker was I-10 eastbound through Albuquerque at the Ray Road exit. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, that's where it's really coming down, and that's where we're seeing it on the radar right now,
okay,
too.
Good. Thank you for clarifying that. Well, we want to give you another live live look from downtown Phoenix where you look at that. My goodness, so many dark clouds right there. And you can even see some shafts of rain just hanging over the valley. Now we want to get to Jade Cunningham. She's near Buckeye, where the search still continues for a man believed to have been swept away by floodwaters. Jade.
Hey, good afternoon, Tram. Yeah, so the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office actually just finished a press conference about 30 minutes or so ago, giving an update on search efforts for today, basically saying it is an all-hands-on-deck type of operation for their department. Now, to give you just a bit of perspective of where we are, this is Waterman's Wash. Yesterday, this was almost like a raging river. The water moving so fast, you can see the branches completely pushed and bent forward. There are spots where there is other debris. There's a plastic kind of bin, if you will, kind of completely shredded, but it's embedded in some branches. So that water was moving so rapidly. In fact, it pushed Vince Upton's truck about 1.5 miles to 2 miles down this wash here. You can see his truck landed right here. It is heavily damaged. As you can see, there are dents all over, including the top of the truck. I actually spoke with the woman yesterday as well as today who found the truck yesterday. She tells me that the hood of the truck was found further down the wash, and they also believe that the windshield may have been pushed out by Vince, maybe trying to get out. It is close to the embankment there, so maybe trying to grab onto some branches. But unfortunately, when the truck was found, Vince was not found. Now, what we know at this point from authorities, as well as people who've been involved in this search from the very beginning, is that Upton has been missing since about 3:30 Sunday morning. He was trying to cross the wash when he called his wife to tell him that he was stuck in his truck in the wash. He told her that he loved her, and the phone then disconnected. Since then, hundreds have been out here searching for him. The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office saying they have multiple teams out here today trying to help with this search, trying to find him. Take a listen.
Despite the dangerous storm, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office Aviation Unit, as well as the DPS's Aviation Unit, responded with deputies. With the help of some Good Samaritans, we were able to locate the vehicle shortly thereafter, sadly unoccupied. Throughout the morning, our search and rescue coordinators remained on site with deputies, continuing search efforts. Due to the dangerous nature of the debris and the fast-moving water, the aviation unit came out several more times throughout the morning. Search and rescue coordinators did monitor the situation where there was running water up until yesterday.
Now, of course, again, it's an all-hands-on-deck operation today, and it really has been a sight to see. We have seen hundreds of people in this wash here canvassing it up and down, and they are going on foot, they are going on quads, horseback, they have motorbikes. However they can help, they are helping, whether they knew this man or not. We also asked MCSO how long they were planning on being out here for the search. They said that they will be out here for most of the day. We will be out here. We will continue to follow this. You can stay with 12 News on air and online at 12news.com. For the latest. Reporting live, Jade Cunningham, 12 News.
Jade, you can see really how high those floodwaters came just by all the dirt that it carried. I mean, that truck, it is so entrenched in that dirt. Are those airbags that deployed?
You know, I asked that same question, Tram. It does appear to be airbags of the truck. So obviously this truck went through a beating as it traveled down again about 1.5 miles to 2 miles from where that road, that crossing was. You know, it was 3:30 in the morning. It was very dark. The water was probably moving very, very quickly, and it all happened very fast. So again, yes, it is down here. It is heavily damaged, and we're just hoping that Vince will be found.
Oh. Gosh, we really hope for the best. Jade, thank you so much. Right now, we want to get back to our 12 News storm tracker here. Obviously, the rain has lightened up greatly. Now it just barely looks like it's sprinkling, but you can still see a lot of those heavy, dark clouds. Chris Dunn, I want to bring him back. You were saying that this severe thunderstorm warning is going to last maybe like another 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, it goes until 1:30, and there's kind of a core, really heavy rain that is moving up from south to north. This is I-10 and Guadalupe Road, and you can see that the visibility greatly reduced.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, we do have a holiday today, so there's probably not going to be as much traffic on the roads as there normally would be during the workday. But intense rainfall rates of 1/2 inch to 1 inch an hour. But the deal with this is it's moving so fast. It's moving at about 30 miles per hour. So it's moving right along. So it's going to dump a lot of rain in a short amount of time, but maybe some minor impacts as far as flooding on the roadways. And again, this is I-10 Guadalupe Road, and is moving towards Tempe Town Lake, Old Town Scottsdale area, and just it looks like it's going to kind of sideswipe downtown Phoenix, maybe Sky Harbor. Do we have that tower cam look once again? If we can pop that up and kind of show where it is in relation to the downtown buildings.
And we know that Sky Harbor already has hundreds of delays happening right now because of the weather.
Right. And earlier weather, it hampers the amount of aircraft that it can come in and out of the airport if the weather is not ideal and perfect like it normally is. There you can see Chase Field, South Mountain off in the distance, and just to the left of all that big mass of a cloud that looks like it's extending all the way down to the ground. That's hail and rain that is reaching all the way down to the ground. Again, severe thunderstorm warning for Maricopa County. The area is just east of downtown and all the way across the East Valley. That goes until 1:30 in the afternoon. If we can take a look at the radar, if they can pop that up just to give you an idea of where all of this is, here's our severe thunderstorm warning. And again, it's a relatively small area in relation to the rest of the valley. But as we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see it looks like it's just about to cross Tempe Town Lake and along the 143, kind of on the boundary of Sky Harbor Airport. So we'll likely add even more rain to our monthly rain total. We're now the fourth wettest October on record after 2 days in a row of record rainfall. Today's record is over 2 inches, so we're probably not going to get there. But we do have a flash flood warning now that was just issued. Looks like about 2 minutes ago. That goes until 4:15 for the flood threat for this thunderstorm. Severe thunderstorm warning goes until 1:30 this afternoon for, again, that orange boxed off area. It does include Fountain Hills, Scottsdale, North Scottsdale, Tempe area, and kind of the eastern half of the central Phoenix corridor, if you will. The heaviest rain now crossing over South Mountain. It's now probably about baseline and just about to the I-17 split. Near downtown Phoenix. Again, hail about the size of quarters, and the intense rainfall and a lot of lightning. Looks like the severe thunderstorm warning looks like it's undergoing a refresh. Anytime it flashes there, we get new data coming in. So right now it goes until 1:30 this afternoon. Again, this is an old timeline, but this still gives us an idea of the timing. Scottsdale 1:20, so we're looking at about 6 or 7 minutes from right now, and eventually ending up towards Carefree and the Fountain Hills area. Flash flood warning and severe thunderstorm warning, both in effect for Maricopa County for the next little while. If you do have to travel, maybe give it another half hour, 45 minutes or so before you head out if you're in that part of the valley. And if you're in the areas where this storm is headed, just know it's coming your way.
Well, and if we could go back to that ADOT camera, I think that was very telling here of just how the visibility is really reduced. And you can tell just by that scene there, you've got the headlights on, people are slowing down dramatically there. The roads are sopping wet. I mean, look at all the water that's coming out from, behind the cars. You could just tell that it's pretty severe in that area. And
this is the Loop 101 Guadalupe Road. This is basically Tempe. And it looked like the visibility was worse about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So the way things are moving right along, there's going to be a core of really intense rainfall and some of that hail that comes through your area, but it's going to last maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then it's going to start to subside, and then it'll get a whole lot better. There you can see that wall of rain, a wall of water that is marching steadily northward. Chase Field is on the right side of your screen, and then off in the distance, we're looking, just to give you a frame of reference, we're in downtown, right off of Van Buren, looking towards the east, and that is that storm that is moving up. Just, it looks like it's going to kind of skirt around the eastern fringes of Sky Harbor Airport through Tempe and South Scottsdale.
So does that mean that that's coming through? It's going to move through downtown Phoenix as well and work its way up north towards Scottsdale, Fountain Hills? We'll
kind of catch the edge of this one. There are additional storms that are developing down to the south of downtown. We'll catch some of those, but this is the most intense storm right now that's moving through the East Valley.
And just looking at it, it looks massive and so ominous. Again, we're showing you another look at 101 in Guadalupe, where you're right, Chris, the visibility, it has gotten a little bit better. I mean, earlier when we first took this shot about 10 minutes ago or so, you couldn't even read the signs. So now you
Yeah.
can kind of make out, you know, it's near the 60 and exit being Baseline Road and Southern Avenue. But cars still, they are really slowing down. And you can see, you know, it's, you know, lunchtime right now, still very busy. Not so much headed into the other direction as much on the
there
left
are
side.
some of those exits and the underpasses that tend to get flooded out on the US 60. We had a problem with that on the 202 over the weekend.
This site
and
is
look at
just incredible. I mean, you could
Yeah.
see those clouds moving.
Yeah, this is, I guess you could consider this a shelf cloud, the outer fringe of this really strong thunderstorm that is moving through the Eastern Valley right now. We're looking up towards the northeast, basically east-northeast from downtown Phoenix. So if you're anywhere east of I-17, get ready for this storm to move on through. If you're in Albuquerque or Sun Lakes or Chandler, chances are most of this is pretty much passed you by, and you're not necessarily in the clear, but the worst is passed you by. Yeah, you can see the radar there in the corner of your screen. We've zoomed in a little bit more, and that severe thunderstorm warning because of the threat of gusty winds that can do some damage, and the hail threat as well. That goes until 1:30. And again, the flash flood warning will likely end up with some ponding of water on the roadways. And if you encounter an intersection that looks like it's flooded out, take it really slow, or just turn around and go in a different direction. We've seen this time and time again the last few weeks.
And you know, we just had a hit from Jade Cunningham, who was in Buckeye, where they are still searching for that missing man. And just that side of that truck being, you know, the wheels almost halfway up filled with dirt. That just shows you how rapid this flooding can come in so fast and just kind of swallow up vehicles. So again, Chris is still working on the radar here, giving us different angles. But I want to go back to our downtown roof camera, because this site really is so incredibly just amazing to see right here. It's almost a paradox there to the left, where you see those bright blue skies being kind of enveloped by all of these dark gray clouds, and that storm you can see just behind it. Chris, you were saying it's also bringing not just a lot of rain, but hail.
Yeah, there are signs on the radar that we're seeing hail out of this, because it's really vigorous updrafts. And if you think about it, the freezing level's 11 or 12,000 feet, and this cloud extends way up into that freezing level. So the raindrops will freeze and fall as hail. I've zoomed into the view a little bit. There you can see the State Route 51. So it's going to be kind of squeezed in between the 51 and the Loop 101 heading up through Scottsdale. And past Fountain Hills as well. This is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. So the worst of the weather, it does look like some of that heavy rain is hitting Sky Harbor right now, kind of the eastern flank of that airport, and just skirting by to the east of downtown Phoenix. We've already had a lot of problems, and we reported on the delays at Sky Harbor. This is only going to further those delays.
Over 200 delays.
Right. And so it's only going to get worse before it gets better. Paradise Valley, getting that really heavy rain right now, and also probably seeing some hail. Old Town Scottsdale, heading up towards Kierland Commons and Desert Ridge Marketplace, up along the 101 and the 51. So it's kind of in that zone right now. Passed through Tempe. Looks like Tempe and Guadalupe and Albuquerque area. The worst has passed you by. Now things will start to settle down. It's just heading right up the Loop 101 into Scottsdale.
And this seems like you were saying, you know, these storms, when they're moving in, they're pretty ferocious, but they're only lasting a couple of minutes, right? So this is fast moving.
Right, and unlike over the weekend, we had lines of training thunderstorms. So we had things developing and kind of sitting over the same spot for 2, 3, 4 hours. This is more of a case of where we have isolated storms. They're more intense and really intense rainfall, but they're moving along pretty fast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So a fast flow there. Boy, what a really scary looking scene that is.
It really, really is. And, you know, to the left, we saw some more blue skies, but obviously, again, that's just being swallowed up by these dark gray clouds. But to the right, though, it's a little bit lighter. So what does that mean? Is this just kind of, you know, the calm after the storm?
Yeah, that's the backside of the storm. So what we're looking at right now, in between the buildings, that is the core of the heaviest rain and probably some hail contained in that as well. That's the storm, the main part of the storm that we're tracking.
Oh, it's not the front part where the darkest gray is.
Where the darkest gray is right now, that's the center of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the middle of it. That's what's moving through Scottsdale right now, from south to north. So if you're in the northern portions of Scottsdale, maybe closer to the Loop 101 where it curves back around, and North Scottsdale, Carefree, Cave Creek, even Deer Valley area, get ready for this storm. It's heading your way.
And this camera view right here, you're supposed to be able to see Camelback, and you can't even make out the line of Camelback at all. And you were saying that, again, this storm, it's because it's moving its way from the southeast, making its way up towards, you know, Scottsdale, Fountain Hills. The 51, that's going to be affected as well.
Right.
The 101 near, you know, Old Town, and again, up North Phoenix area, that's all going to get hit. So obviously, if people are going to be driving on the freeways, that's especially dangerous because of risk of hydroplaning.
Yeah, and basically that stretch on the 51 from where you go through the Dreamy Draw and all the way up to the Loop 101, that is going to be the next place kind of in line for the heaviest rain. We've got a radar update here. It's 1:21 in the afternoon on a Monday, and very heavy rain. And you see kind of the little pocket of white in the middle of all that red rain. That would indicate the heaviest return, and that would be hail. Because if you think about it, the radar, it sends out a signal and it bounces back off of raindrops. Well, when it bounces back off something that's solid, like a hailstone, it comes back with a really strong return. So our legend up at the top in the banner, you see medium to heavy, and then hail is in white. So that's where we have that moving through the central portions of Scottsdale right now, just north of Old Town Scottsdale.
And we just got word that APS is reporting 6,000 people roughly are without power. Okay, I just noticed that white part, it just kind of broke apart. So does that mean hail now in 2 different areas?
That just means that the highest level of return from the radar was, so the radar site is at Mesa Gateway Airport, and it's sending out that radar beam, and every time it scans around, it gives new information to the radar. And so if it hits something that's really solid, and it'll come back as a different color.
Right.
And if it's really intense, then it'll come back as that white color. And so that's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like there's hail, though, on the freeways, on the 51. Maybe close to the 101 right there, you know, the center of the 101.
Yeah, and, you know,
east.
and the hail situation, it's a kind of a deal where you'll have really isolated pockets of it. Okay. And it'll be up to the size of about quarters at the largest of them.
Big.
Most of them will be like pea-sized hail, the typical hail that we get around here. Yeah. But yeah, there's the possibility of hail up to that size.
All right, let's give you a live look right now from our 12 News weather tracker, if we can get that up. We saw it zipping around town here. Do we have a locator on exactly where this is, Casey? Not yet. All right. Well, as you can see, it's not really raining, but clearly the roads are wet. It's on the surface streets right now, and it doesn't appear to be any rain in that area. It looks like probably the rain just passed through that area, but off in the distance there, you can see just how dark those clouds are. The last time we checked in, they were in the East Valley off the 10. And so again, it looks like it's heading on the 101 north. And that's really going to be headed to where the thick of it is, because as Chris was just saying, you know, this system was moving from the southeast, making its way through Tempe, past Ahwatukee, now in between. There we go. There's a better picture of it here. Scottsdale looks like it'll be hit pretty hard, and into Fountain Hills. He's kind of updating his maps here, and that severe thunderstorm warning. Chris, it's still only until 1:30. It seems like it should be lasting a lot longer than 1:30.
Well, and when the National Weather Service, when they issue a severe thunderstorm warning, it goes for a certain duration, and then when it comes closer to that time frame, they may reissue a new warning.
Okay.
Or when they reevaluate what's going on. But this, the area, it still covers what is the valid time frame from this warning. And again, you kind of see it flashing there. There is probably another update that they're saying something like the threat continues across this area, or they may issue a new warning that goes a little bit farther to the north, as long as that threat continues and goes outside of that boxed off area.
Yeah, North Scottsdale about ready to be hit, if not already pretty hard there because it's clearly, you know, a wide swath of red. Fountain Hills obviously being hit more in that direction. But right now, let's give you a better look here now that our 12 News weather tracker is on the freeway on the 101 heading north, and you can see a little bit more rain developing here. It looked like it was passing Guadalupe Road. So it doesn't seem as though the traffic is slowing down too much. I mean, it's not raining too hard just yet, but again, it is heading in the northerly direction here. And as Chris is updating the maps here, it looks like North Scottsdale will be hit pretty hard. North Phoenix, kind of on the fringe of it, right, Chris?
Yeah, for now. And as you can see, I'm kind of manipulating the radar here. There's another batch that is just south of downtown Phoenix. That is what's going to move into downtown in like the next 5 to 10 minutes from right now. So it's not severe, but we're finding some pockets of really heavy rain with that next batch that's going to move into the downtown area. So what we're looking at right near, I'll just kind of draw some arrows around this. This is the new area that is moving up into the downtown area. And again, these are fast moving showers and thunderstorms. Quite a bit of lightning with some of them. Putting the lightning on here, and you can see some of the lightning strikes. There is the flash flood warning in effect for the Tempe and Chandler, Ahwatukee area. That goes until 4:15 because of that heavy rain, the swath of heavy rain. We've had heavy rain the last couple of days, so everything is saturated. It doesn't take a whole lot for more flooding problems to exist. So this next batch is just now crossing South Mountain. It's coming in from the south and the southwest, also crossing the Estrella Mountains, so portions of the West Valley will get it. But this one looks like it's aiming right towards downtown Phoenix. So again, not severe at this point, but any of these thunderstorms could contain strong gusty winds that could do some damage. The main focal point is the severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 1:30 this afternoon. Another few minutes on this one, and there are some signs that this does include some hail and also some damaging winds potentially coming through Scottsdale right now. Basically, again, it's the best way to describe it is it's squeezed between the 51 and the Loop 101 in Scottsdale, North Phoenix area, north of Dreamy Draw, north of Paradise Valley now, and approaching the northern portions of Scottsdale with strong gusty wind. And again, the hail potential is still there with us.
So, Chris, this is interesting because the first batch, it kind of skirted downtown Phoenix just a little bit. We took our roof camera to see the clouds moving in, and here's another vantage point from our roof camera here. And you know, we thought we kind of avoided the thick of it, and now you're saying that another batch could be moving in through downtown Phoenix and headed, it looks like the same pathway as the first system that's headed, right?
Yeah, except this one is just a little bit farther to the west. So this one is going to go right through the middle of downtown Phoenix. We're almost looking due south right now. So you could see on the camera point of view, you could see Chase Field there, South Mountain. This is the one, this is the batch. See all that lightning this right there. I'll take off the lightning strike so we can clearly see where this thunderstorm is. And we'll zoom in a little bit tighter on this to give you a good vantage point. So it's crossing over South Mountain and just about to push into the downtown Phoenix area. Again, we have the storm warnings on here just to always keep us updated on the latest warnings that are happening. That flash flood warning does not include downtown. That's from that earlier thunderstorm that just skirted by downtown, as Tram mentioned. But this is the batch that is moving into the downtown area right now. I have the loop on just a 30-minute loop just to kind of give us a general sense of the direction of things.
And it looks like, Chris, that there's some hail following that second batch too, right?
Yeah, there could be. There already are some intense echoes with this radar signature here, and we are seeing that little bit of white indicating the higher level of return on the radar. So yeah, there certainly could be some hail with this next batch that's coming up through downtown.
Okay, let's give you another live look from our downtown roof camera here, and you can see the winds really picking up there, the flags waving in the distance, and the dark gray clouds. Again, as Chris was just explaining, there is a second system on its way that's supposed to hit downtown Phoenix a little bit more immediate. It seems like we're more in the bullseye of this second system versus the first one. Let's give you a look right now from our 12 News storm tracker. If we could get a location on this one, perhaps. Casey? Okay, 101 north. It's still traveling 101 north. Looks like it's just past the 202. So again, it's heading into this direction of where the thunderstorm is hitting, the first one. And then again, there's a second one coming from the west side, unlike the first one that came from the southeast side. So it's almost like the valley is getting hit with a 1-2 punch, Chris.
Yeah, you could say that. Our storm tracker right now is heading up the 101. This is the area that was already hit by that storm. So we're basically following it up to the north and kind of in its tracks and whatever it's left in its wake. So that is the one that's moving up to the north, and it is north of the 202, pretty much well north of the 202. So say Raintree, Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, kind of up in that area. Some really heavy rain coming down right now. Severe thunderstorm warning. We just got the brand new update. There you can see how the box is flashing. The previous box went away. This was just issued at 1:30 right now. An immediate update. This is as it's happening. 2:15 is the new severe thunderstorm warning, and that's basically a continuation of the earlier severe thunderstorm warning. This does include Cave Creek, Carefree area. Does not include Fountain Hills, but all of the North Scottsdale area, and it looks like just to the east of Deer Valley. So you're looking at areas east of I-17. Cave Creek, Carefree, North Scottsdale, severe thunderstorm warning just issued. That goes until 2:15 this afternoon. Again, gusty winds and hail is going to be the primary threat from this one. Just reading some of the text, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and hail the size of quarters. They're referencing it's located over Scottsdale Airport, moving north at 40 miles per hour. These are really fast-moving thunderstorms, as we've been indicating all afternoon. It'll dump a lot of rain, and it has the hail threat, but also they're moving right along. So it's not going to sit in just rain and rain and rain for an hour or two. So very fast-moving thunderstorms, but also strong thunderstorms. And this is because of this threat. This is why we have the weather impact alert in effect for the rest of today. And it does look like this threat will last until about 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. Once things shut down, we're going to be done for a while.
Okay, but as you just said, the severe thunderstorm warning now extended for another 45 minutes or so until 2:15. We're giving you a live look right here. This is I-10 and 83rd Avenue. Still, it doesn't look like it's raining too hard, but you can still see a lot of water on the freeways and a lot of people slowing down, obviously, here. Let's give you another live look from our downtown roof camera. You can see the raindrops on the lens as this second storm system moves through. This time it's coming from the west, unlike the first one, which came up from the southeast. And Chris, it really is amazing just really how fast this storm is moving, because just within the past half hour, we've seen it come up from the southeast, make its way through Ahwatukee, South Phoenix, into Tempe, and just kind of race its way all the way up through, in between the 51 and the 101, all the way up through North Scottsdale already now into Fountain Hills, hitting North Phoenix. But it is moving fast. Yeah,
and I've covered severe weather outbreaks in other parts of the country. Anytime you have a thunderstorm that's moving 30 miles per hour or greater, that's a pretty good clip, and these are moving at 40. That indicates that we have really strong steering winds that are moving things along. And when we have really strong winds up above, we also have a sheared environment. So that promotes stronger storms to develop, which can it kind of feeds into itself and promotes strong updrafts, and also that hail threat that we're seeing. And back in the booth, if you want to check some of the ADOT cameras along the Loop 101, like North Scottsdale area, Princess, Frank Lloyd Wright, kind of up in that area, all the way to the 51 junction. Those would probably be good places to check out, as it looks like the heaviest rain is moving through that area right now. And that's also the area that is under the brand new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. That goes until 2:15. Oh, here we go.
Wow, that's 101 and 56th Street. So that you're looking at pretty much the border of North Phoenix, North Scottsdale right there. And you can see the rain moving sideways. So, and that tells you just by the camera, the ADOT camera moving right there, how strong these winds are. The rain is just pelting these cars here, even the camera lens, and you can just see the traffic slowing down, how much water is on the freeway right there. Again, this is the 101 56th Street. So this is North Phoenix, North Scottsdale area. One of the HOV lanes, one of the vehicles right there, that was slowing down with its emergency lights on. But when a system like this strong with hail in its system, you know, it's so incredibly dangerous for these vehicles to be traveling so fast. So obviously it's really slowed down. Visibility is obviously to almost a minimum here, but truly how strong these winds are, just seeing the rain move sideways and the camera flashing.
And Tram, this is the same storm that we were looking at the top of our newscast at 1 o'clock, all the way back at 1 o'clock, that was moving through Tempe, and where we were on the US 60 and one of the traffic cams down there. You would barely see down the roadway, and then literally 5 minutes later, the visibility improved dramatically. So it just shows you how things are changing so fast, and what a dynamic environment this is right now, where things go downhill really quickly, and you'll get that brief burst of heavy rain, gusty winds, and you might have a brief shot of some hail that comes through, and then in just a few minutes after that, things will rapidly improve. But we're watching this. Main area of concern right now is for the northern portions of the valley along the Loop 101, say Loop 101 and the 51, so North Scottsdale, Cave Creek, Carefree. Cave Creek, it's going to be about another 10-15 minutes before it gets to you. But also, when covering severe weather, we sometimes will focus on the big bad one and then lose our focus on some of the other elements that are happening out there. There is a batch of storms that's just about to descend upon downtown Phoenix. I'll put in the lightning here so we can see this is an extra sparky storm that is going to roll through downtown right now. So if you're starting to hear some thunder, especially just south of downtown Phoenix, it is not your imagination. We have another batch of storms that is approaching the downtown area right now.
Well, and I was just going to say, Chris, I walked out to our studio door here. It is coming down. You can, in fact, hear the rain pelting our building here off 200 East Van Buren. It is coming down strong as we give you a live look from our roof camera, and you could just see the rain kind of come sideways because it shows you the winds obviously have picked up here as well. Raindrops on our camera lens, and you can tell that again it's just going sideways, and just walking outside I already got a little wet. So it's really coming down here in downtown Phoenix. So again, that's that second batch of rain that you were talking about, right?
Right, and also off to the east, I've kind of zeroed in the radar you see in the corner of your screen. This is an area that we were concerned about during our noon cut-ins and the 1 o'clock newscast. Globe, Superior, Miami, Claypool, that has had several days of some flooding. We do have a batch of some heavy rain that is moving through Gila County right now, all the way down south to Kearney. So we're hoping that this is going to be fast enough moving and not put down that much water and that much rain, but there's going to be a lot of runoff that comes with this. So, you know, folks, I hate to tell you this, but in Globe and Miami, where you've already had the flooding, there's going to be flooding potential there for, it looks like, the next hour to 2 hours or so. There is the flood watch that remains in effect until 8 o'clock. No flash flood warnings for this area just yet, but I'll keep a close eye on this. We don't want to focus all of our energy on the valley because we know that you have some serious weather concerns there because of what you've gone through so far. And there are also some really strong storms heading towards Gila County. But then back to the valley, again, there's the batch of storms that is moving into downtown. Not severe, but you'll have a brief downpour Some heavy rain moving through, and also that severe thunderstorm warning for the North Valley that continues until 2:15 this afternoon.
Okay, let's give you another live look here from our 12 News weather tracker. We just got word that it is on the 101 approaching Talking Stick here. So if we can get a shot of that view here, and you can see the rain again just moving in as the weather tracker heads straight towards that first system that is hitting in the North Scottsdale, North Phoenix area. It's going to get a whole lot heavier. But Chris, you know, I'm glad you brought in Globe in here, because that area, as we know, a little bit more than 2 weeks ago, that got hit with deadly flooding and storms. 3 people died. 1 man was missing. He was later found, thank goodness. But, you know, it just goes to show that that area, it's just getting hit relentlessly with these storms. I mean, what are they looking at in that area?
Well, they're looking at, I'll scoot the radar over here so we can see as we take a look at the storm tracker at the same time. Anytime we have the areas in yellow, orange, and red, that's the heavier precipitation. So more intense rainfall rates are showing up around Globe and Superior right now. Let's see if I can bring in this. The rainfall rate close to Globe, it looks like it's well, 6,500ths of an inch of rain per hour, which is pretty good. A pretty good rainfall rate. Not good if you want flooding, or if you don't want flooding, of course. So it's coming down at a pretty significant rate right now. But again, as I mentioned earlier, these storms are moving along rather rapidly. So everything is moving along to the north at about 40 miles per hour. So it's going to rain like cats and dogs for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then it'll taper off to more of a lighter, gentler rain. But the problem is it's already been raining, and there's a lot of saturation up there, and there will be a lot of runoff. So if they get a lot of rain in the hills surrounding that area, it's all got to go somewhere. So it will drain off of those hills and you know, end up in some of the creeks and the washes like we've seen the last couple of days.
Yeah, that's how the flooding happens. I mean, we just saw with Jade, you know, the situation that happened there, where they're still looking for a man who is missing in Rainbow Valley. And what's happened to Globe a couple of weeks ago was just devastating. You saw businesses with their windows blown out. You saw, you know, just basically mud, propane tanks being swept into the flooded areas there. And they just do not need more flooding and devastation in their area after what they have been through.
Right,
Let's
right,
give
exactly.
you a look here. This is downtown Phoenix. Again, we've been talking about that second system that's crept up out of the west here, and you can see a lot of the rain. In fact, we can hear it on our roof here in downtown Phoenix off 200 East Van Buren. Let's give you another look right now from our weather tracker, still on the 101, and it's heading into the area where it is getting hit hard with that first system that moved from the southeast valley all the way up through the Scottsdale area. And in fact, it's kind of almost, I mean, it's still hitting the Scottsdale area, North Scottsdale, North Phoenix, but it's heading now more into Fountain Hills, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's kind of side-swiping Fountain Hills, almost a direct south to north trajectory here. And it looks like the heaviest rain is now starting to move north of the Loop 101. So where the 101 makes that big bend around and turns towards heading to the west, all that stretch up there, Desert Ridge Marketplace area, it's the heaviest rain is along that and just now moving up to the north. So Carefree and Cave Creek and North Scottsdale, that whole area up there, where you have a lot of normally dry washes and that all that desert terrain. The water, it doesn't seep in, it just runs right off. So you're going to have a lot of runoff and a lot of running streams and normally dry creeks that are going to be filled up with some water as we go through the rest of the afternoon. Still a hail threat and still a severe storm gusty wind threat with this one, with the severe thunderstorm warning that continues for that portion of Maricopa County until 2:15 this afternoon. Again, the heaviest rain right along the Loop 101 and north, and it's heading to the north. So if you're in the central part of Scottsdale, things have really lightened up, and it's almost over, but we have the secondary batch that Tram was talking about. That's the batch that's moving through downtown Phoenix right now. Doesn't appear that there's anything technically severe with this one that could do damage, but there will be an awful lot of rain in a short amount of time, a lot of lightning as well. Anytime you hear thunder, you have the threat of being struck by lightning, and that's always an underrated weather threat, I think. So if you hear thunder, just stay indoors and stay inside. We used to tell people to stay off the phone, but cell phones are not really affected by that. If you have a landline, a corded phone, you want to definitely be off of that anytime there's lightning around. Do we have a location on the storm tracker right now?
We're still working on it.
Okay.
I mean, as of last check, it was heading north on the 101. It almost looks like it's taken one of the frontage roads. Maybe this is around the Pima area, but we know that it's headed towards, North Scottsdale.
Yeah, and they were in the thick of things, boy, just a short while ago, but trying to chase after some of these storms. When they're moving at 40 miles an hour, it's tough to keep up.
It's gone by the time we get there, Chris.
Yeah. You also almost need to be right in the line of fire, so to speak. I'm just checking the observation from Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, just out of curiosity to see if they got any rain. This is another one of those cases where, yes, the rain did not miss the rain gauge at the airport. About a quarter of an inch of rain out of this. It was just a really kind of a side swipe, the airport, fast, furious, and then boom, it moved on its way. But quick.
But the second batch.
The second batch will probably hit the airport as well.
Okay. And I know, obviously, Chris, we've talked about this so many times, especially when it's severe weather, but the fact that you're a pilot, I mean, we already have hundreds of delays. That was because of weather, also in part because of the government shutdown. And now with this storm that's moving in, I mean, again, it was a 1-2 punch. The first system just kind of, went past Sky Harbor, but the second system, that could have a big effect as well. I don't know if there's a way to see if maybe we can check on even if it's grounded. We've talked about that before when there are severe storms, how Sky Harbor would be grounded. So, we're going to continue to check to see if that is the situation happening right now at Sky Harbor. But from this vantage point, you can see downtown Phoenix getting sopped with this second storm system that's moved in. Obviously, a lot harder than the first system that moved in. That kind of skirted by us, but this one is obviously a lot more severe here with more raindrops, and you can see the wind just kind of whipping that rain sideways there. Yeah,
I just checked with the FAA, and they are listing Phoenix as they're in a ground stop right now until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Basically, what that means is they're not allowing other planes that are bound for Phoenix to take off. They have to stay on the ground because they're not going to be able to handle all the traffic that's either holding and stacked up or diverting away from Phoenix trying to get in here. So Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport under a ground stop until 2:30, and that's just preventing other planes from taking off. To say if you're on the ground in San Francisco and you want to come to Phoenix, well, you got to stay there until they lift that ground stop. So that's what a ground stop means in this case. Thunderstorms in the area, and that's the reason for it.
And again, planes just being kind of it's a kind of a holding position for planes elsewhere that not right now. You can't land in Phoenix Sky Harbor because of the weather that we're having. Now, you pulled up the radar once again. I'm wondering, we talked about that fast-moving first storm that came from the southeast. What about this second one? Is it moving just as fast? It seems, this one seems bigger and a little bit slower. Am I wrong?
It's most likely moving at about the same speed.
Okay.
But it's kind of undergoing a development or redevelopment after it crossed over the mountains, the Estrellas and South Mountains. Sometimes it'll hit the outflow from that first storm, and that acts like a little extra lift to it. So that'll kind of reinvigorate the next storm that comes up in the wake of that first one. So we had the first one come up through Chandler, Ahwatukee, Tempe, Scottsdale. The second one coming up through, say, Laveen, downtown Phoenix, and right up the I-17. So they're kind of paralleling each other, but one is to the east, one is to the west, and pretty much everybody getting a chance at getting some of this rain today.
Yeah, and let's give you a live look right here. It looks like the I-10 stack from one of our ADOT cameras. You can really see the rain coming down hard here. It's very gray. Visibility has obviously gotten more minimal, but you can see a lot of that rain from the cars right there. You could just see all that rain coming out from the back of the cars and just them slowing down. But the rain just... it almost looks like hail, Chris, because of how hard it's coming down. And we know that there are some reports of hail.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like it from the camera point of view. It's possible. Really, the best way to tell on video or on a camera view is to have a ground view and to see the little hailstones as they bounce off of the ground.
But it's a little windy. You could tell the camera's shaking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When these are coming through, they'll come through with a gust of wind and a rush, downburst of winds, and it could knock down some trees. You know, some trees are more prone to being knocked over by our storms than others. But it looks like things are in pretty good shape here at the I-10 stack. So downtown getting some of that heavy rain right now. Also, the North Scottsdale area getting that first batch. That's quickly moving through.
Okay, and I was just going to say that this second batch, it looks like it's kind of headed in the same direction, right? So North Phoenix, North Scottsdale, that whole area will be hit with a second round as well, right?
Peoria, Glendale, again, areas kind of to the west of the 51 and right along I-17. So I've kind of adjusted the radar there in the corner of your screen. You can see 51, we can almost look at the 51 as kind of the dividing line between the eastern storm and the western storm. So where you got it earlier, that storm still has a severe thunderstorm warning attached to it. 2:15, that's going to go until 2:15, so another, say, 20, 25 minutes from right now. Cave Creek, it's just approaching you from the south right now. So Cave Creek, get ready. This is the batch of really heavy rain. It has a history of putting down a lot of... and then the other storm that's off to the west, we're looking at Glendale, along Interstate 17, and then into the downtown area. Some little pockets of hail certainly possible with this, but you can see a live look in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah, look at how hard that rain is coming. And in fact, we could hear it. It kind of, you know, overlapped your mic just a second ago, but you could also hear the rain just pelting our building. You hear that? That is a lot of rain that we're getting here. Downtown Phoenix getting hit with that second storm system. Did the first one kind of fuel up this second one? I mean, I know it came from a completely opposite direction, but did it kind of spawn on the path of the first one?
Well, they're kind of paralleling each other. Okay. So it certainly is possible that the first one aided the second one in strengthening. That we were watching that batch of developing showers just south of the Estrella Mountains and moving over the Estrellas and South Mountain, and then it really kind of started to blow up as it got into the valley. So contrary to popular belief, we don't have a protective dome over the valley that repels storms. And sometimes they actually strengthen when they get into the valley. I've zoomed in the radar here, Apache Junction, the Far East Valley. I want to show you that we're not ignoring the Far East Valley. Yes, there's a pocket of very heavy rain in the Apache Junction area. This is east of the 202 Santan and Red Mountain freeways. And this is also moving up to the north. Brand new radar scan just coming through there. So it looks like the northern fringes of Apache Junction getting some of that heavy rain. And then back to our severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 2:15. Again, this storm is just now approaching the Cave Creek area. And if you're in Cave Creek, you're probably feeling it right now with some of that really heavy rain. And it'll be preceded by gusty winds. And, you know, with storms like this and this type of environment, I haven't had a chance to check out any of the radar products, but we're looking at the possibility of hail and haven't really explored the overall atmosphere. But you know, tornadoes, that's always kind of goes through the back of my mind when we have something as dynamic as this. So
didn't we have a warning yesterday?
We did.
Yeah.
Up that was northwest of Winslow, approaching the Hopi Reservation.
Right.
And it was generally over rural land in Coconino County.
Still,
that was radar indicated, and we didn't have any reports of a tornado with that one yesterday.
Yeah, but it's still very, you know, disconcerting when you hear a tornado in Arizona, of all places. But again, here's a look right now from one of our downtown roof cameras, and the rain still coming down so hard. We had an earlier shot of the rain. You could just see it, you know, from the apartment buildings there, but it's a little gusty. This is a look here from I-17 and Indian School, I believe. Okay. All right, from our producer. Okay, so I-17 and Indian School here, and you can see just how bad that rain is coming down. We were talking about how this second system has just kind of enveloped part of the West Valley too, because it came up from the west, unlike the first system that came up from the southeast, and just, you know, kind of coming along parallel up through the valley, moving its way. But Chris, this almost seems like a bigger system as it's kind of enveloping almost the entire valley from west to east.
Yeah, and you know, I've zoomed out the radar right now. We can see from almost like from one side of the 101 to the other side of the Loop 101. This is I-17 in Indian School, and really heavy rain coming down along the I-17, basically from well, I-10 and the stack all the way up to the 101 in Deer Valley area, and just west of I-17 and in between I-17 and the 51. So, you know, again, we kind of use the 51 as that dividing line between these two different storms. The first one came up between the 51 and the Loop 101 through Scottsdale, and this one also affecting some of those same areas that got hit earlier with the storm number 1, which storm number 1 is still up here approaching Cave Creek and Carefree with that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 2:15. This storm down here to the south, even though it may cover more territory and it's a little bit more spread out and providing everybody with a equal opportunity for that heavy rain, there's nothing that would indicate that this is going to be a damaging storm. So that's why this one does not have a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. But there will be some torrential downpours. Of course, the dangerous lightning associated with this one, and fast moving. It's going to put down a lot of rain, a lot of water on the roads, and then it'll move on, and hopefully things will drain off before it causes too much of a problem.
Yeah, and we've already been so saturated from the rain that happened since Friday already. I think even into Thursday, Chris, last Thursday. But
yeah.
You know, it's been just so saturated. You said that this was what, one of the top 15 wettest days that we've had already?
Yesterday was the 15th wettest single day on record in Phoenix.
Wow.
And so far, we have well, I'm going to check the list now. I think we just moved into the number 3 position, the 3rd wettest October on record.
That is just...
As of today. It was number 4 before we started today.
Yeah, and you can see really how big that system is. So as you were saying, you know, flooding seems to be the biggest issue here. Not so much the damaging winds, because it didn't look like it was too windy. It was just more a little gusty. And some of the hail, right? But it doesn't seem, those seem to be, obviously, the biggest factor would be the flooding.
Yeah, and a lot of times with these storms, when they develop and they start to just first push through an area, you'll have this initial gust front or a gusty wind that, because you have a lot of up and down motion in the atmosphere, and when it's coming down, it hits the ground, it fans out, and it really kicks out some gusty wind. And so that's what we were looking at for the potential of that first storm, wind gust of 60 miles per hour in some isolated instances, and also the hail threat with that one. And we can see on the radar, it's still going all the way up there to the north. And we have a pretty good pocket of that heavy rain through the central part of the valley, right in the heart of the Phoenix metropolitan area, and right in the heart of the Valley of the Sun, getting more of that heavy rain. This has just been an incredible stretch of weather the last 3 or 4 days across our area.
Yeah, and let's give you another live look right here from our 12 News weather tracker that's out in the elements here, trying to see exactly where they are, but it doesn't look as though it's raining too bad, but you can tell that the rain moved through this area because the freeway is completely wet. I don't know if we had got a chance to take a look at that, but...
And Tram, you know, I was just moving the map around here. It does look like we have an additional flash flood warning that was issued at 1:27, just to pass this along. That goes until 4:30. That's also for the Scottsdale area for storm number 1. That's in addition to the flash flood warning to the south that was from Sun Lakes to Ahwatukee and Tempe. So as that storm number 1 moved through those areas, a secondary flash flood warning in effect, and then the severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning has now either been discontinued or they just kicked it off. So it's no longer a severe thunderstorm warning, but look how fast that thing is moving.
Yeah.
It's already now north of Cave Creek. But yeah, the flooding threat is really going to be I think the main threat for the rest of the afternoon in and around the valley. And we are still under that flood watch. That was extended over the weekend, extended until 8 o'clock tonight because of this. Because of the threat of the tropical remnants still lingering for one more day and the threat for some pockets of very heavy rainfall. And considering that we've had so much rain the last few days, it's not going to take a whole lot for more of these impacts. And you're going to have a lot of standing water, a lot of the retention ponds in some neighborhoods that were built for this. You're going to have a lot of water standing there for days to come after this.
Well, and we saw all the flooding that, has hit pockets of the valley. And even, about 2 weeks ago, how flooded it was in some areas like South Phoenix, where cars were getting stalled. They had to be towed away. This is a look from Glendale and I-17, and you could see how that downpour is really hitting the freeway right there, and cars just slowing down. You could see the trail of water that those cars are leaving as they kind of zip up through the freeway. The frontage roads completely saturated as well. We saw earlier some of the cars still moving through some flooded frontage roads, and we talk about that all the time. It's already saturated, and with the drainage the way it is, it gets filled very quickly, and then that spills out onto the roads, and you just never know how deep the water is when you're trying to take your car through these flooded streets. We know that 6 inches of water, that can cause your car to stall. You can even lose control of your car. 6 inches of fast moving floods can actually knock a person over and even move a vehicle, and it takes about a foot of water to just completely flood.
Rain and the effects of driving around, but what about kids playing in a lot of this standing water? And I've seen this time and time again, especially during the monsoon.
They love to play.
Yeah, and you'll have a lot of these green belts and drainage areas that are meant to drain off the water. And this being a holiday, I'm assuming the kids are off of school. They might be out there playing around in the water, riding their bikes and skateboards through all of these ponds, these new lakes that have just formed because of all this recent rainfall, and you just don't know what's in that water.
Or how deep it is.
Or how deep it is, or what might be underneath.
Yeah,
and
lots
then,
of debris.
In the next few days, we're going to have to look at the mosquito issue that's going to follow all of this, because there's going to be a lot of extra water that's just kind of hanging around, and that's a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So if you do have any, like a spare tire or a pot outside or something that's going to collect water, try to, after this is all done, go out there and empty it all out. Just so we don't end up with a bigger problem.
It doesn't take much for those mosquitoes to breed. All right, we are coming up at the top of the hour, 2:01 for you right here. We have been covering this weather impact alert that since really 1 o'clock nonstop here, as we give you a live look from our downtown roof camera. You can see this is a second system that has moved in from the west. We had one earlier at the top of the hour, the first system that came in from the southeast, making its way up through Chandler, up through South Phoenix, Tempe, all the way through North Phoenix, North Scottsdale, and now it's up into the Cave Creek area. But this second system is giving us a pounding. It's bigger. It's kind of almost encompassing the valley from west to east here. And downtown Phoenix, as you can see on the left part of your screen, as you just saw, just getting pounded by all the rain. We could hear a lot of the raindrops even here at our building here at 200 East Van Buren. We gave you a live look just recently right there. That was I-17, it looked like, in Indian School. That was getting pounded because, as you can see on the radar to the right of your screen, the West Valley getting hit pretty hard here. There's even been some hail with this system as well. And just, it's a fast-moving storm, unlike the storm that we had over the weekend where it just kind of sat a little bit and it just kind of lingered. This one has been moving roughly between 30 to 40 miles an hour. Chris, let's bring you in once again as hopefully we can give you a look right now from another one of our cameras where you could just not see Camelback Mountain. It's
right along Interstate 17 through Central Phoenix, north of I-10, between say the 60 and the Loop 101 on I-17. Heaviest rain is in that area. Also, the 51 from the Dreamy Draw up to the Loop 101, that's going to be the heaviest rain as well. Flood advisory down to the south, a flash flood warning in effect. That flash flood warning goes until 4:30 this afternoon, and that's for basically the general Scottsdale area. You talked about 2 rounds. The first round is now up here. This moved through Tempe, Ahwatukee, Chandler, Sun Lakes. This is through Cave Creek right now and approaching Black Canyon City. We have additional heavy showers up in that direction. The severe thunderstorm warning was discontinued before the top of the hour. And again, we're looking at heavy rain, pockets of really heavy rain in select areas. You may be in Gilbert or Santan Valley, Queen Creek, and say, rain? What rain? I haven't had any yet. You might end up with 0 rain, but Apache Junction, that wasn't the case. This thunderstorm near Apache Junction is moving up to the north, and that's going to be moving up into the hills shortly, affecting the Beeline Highway. And then also, we've been kind of focusing on the Globe, Miami, Superior areas because you've had that flooding in recent days, and there is more of that heavy rain in the hills around Globe and Miami and Claypool. We're going to be watching that very closely. Again, there is no flash flood warning. Well, now, as I speak, there wasn't a few minutes ago, but see, if you take your eyes off the ball for 1 minute, and then things are changing rapidly.
Yeah.
There is a flash flood warning now for the Globe in Miami area. That goes until 4:45 because of that rain. That's why we've been checking in on that area from time to time, and even during our 12 o'clock cut-ins and the start of our 1 o'clock show, we were kind of dipping in and out of showing that, hey, this is moving in that direction. Globe, watch out, because you've had several rounds of flash flooding in the past week, and then 2 weeks ago we had that horrible flash flooding, and another case of where we're going through it again, or at least the threat. So flash flood warning for Gila County. That includes Globe, Miami, Superior, Claypool. That's until 4:45. And then, of course, the heavy-duty action that's been traveling through the heart of the valley with a flash flood warning in effect for the Scottsdale area. Areas east of the 51, a flood advisory to the south, and that is until 4:15. And the flash flood warning also, the flood advisory outside of the flash flood warning area. But all of that rain is pretty much over with, and now we're dealing with the pockets of heaviest rain just north of downtown and in the North Valley, North Phoenix, Glendale, Peoria areas, and also into northern Scottsdale.
And we just had a look from our downtown roof camera at kind of the light at the end of this storm, if you will. If we can take another look at that after just getting pounded here in downtown Phoenix. You were just saying that, there's the blue skies right there. Look at that. We went from dark, rainy, little gusty weather, and now you would never know that, the storm had moved in with those blue skies off to the top left-hand corner there. And, this second system really came in strong because the first one kind of skirted away from us. We avoided that one. But as we kind of pan over more to the south, you can see just the remnants of that second system with all those heavy, dark gray clouds there in the distance. But it looks like for the most part, we're done as far as downtown Phoenix, South Valley.
There's still a couple of little elements showing up on the radar that will give us a little bit more rain. I want to show you this image we got from one of our webcams. This is this is the live look. We're looking across Chase Field down towards the South Mountain off in the distance, and some of those dark storm clouds are still hanging around. Yeah, the widespread heavy rain is now over and done with. This is a webcam view from North Mountain looking to the south, and you can kind of tell that there's a little bit of terrain in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, but there's not a whole lot to see there because we are really socked in some parts of the valley. Here's the weather tracker, and what is the location on the weather tracker?
101 heading west.
Okay, 101 westbound.
So that's going towards the storm.
Right. This is heading, I'm guessing it's westbound as you're approaching the I-17. In that area, that's where we're finding the heaviest rain on the radar. And yeah,
we
they're
just got
kind of
word
in the thick of
past
it.
51 in Cave Creek. So yes, it's
Okay.
heading towards the West Valley, where you were saying where it was getting hard hit. Glendale, Peoria, that's the direction that he's headed towards.
Right, and that's
And a
where we're
lot
seeing
of
the
rain.
that's where we're seeing the heavy rain. It's slow going.
Yeah, we just saw
on the
Cave
road.
Creek. Okay, so yeah, that's North Phoenix right now, but you can
Yep.
tell that, obviously it's slowing down and the rain is very heavy. You can see a lot of that rain just trailing the back of the cars there, and it just makes for such a dangerous situation if you have to drive on the freeways. It's just, the roads are so incredibly wet. It's been saturated. And, I want to bring up Globe because you talked about them. I mean, they are just getting hit storm after storm. They already went through so much. Over 2 weeks ago, 3 people died. And, businesses, their windows were blown out. There was such heavy flooding in the area. There were homes that were condemned, uninhabitable, and they were taped off. And something like this moving in, I believe over the weekend they were, even the Globe Miami area was on a set and a go status to evacuate.
Yeah, last night some of that area was, because there was another flash flood warning last night.
Right, and then now you've got this, and they're just getting hit storm after storm.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be raining over your specific location. It can be raining in the hills around, and all of that runoff,
flooding.
all of the drainage comes into the creeks, and then the creeks will have a rapid rise, and then all the water and all the mud associated with that will roll right on through town. And that's what happened in Globe yesterday, late morning, early afternoon hours. But the good news was that they were sort of prepared for it. A lot of the businesses were sandbagged.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I mean, they did a lot of sandbagging. We saw a lot of that around homes and businesses. But, when you get a situation like this where there is torrential rain and, the flooding that's involved during and after these storms, I mean, that can only do so much. They've already been devastated by so much flooding, and you have this, the grounds are already so saturated, so the sandbags can only help so much, and it's just, you feel bad for the people who live there that have already been through a lot.
This is the Storm Tracker 101 at 7th Street. We're moving westbound. We're kind of right into the heart of the heaviest rain right now, and you can see things are really kind of picking up. I'm going to zoom in the radar. The lower right-hand corner of your screen is going to be the radar view as they're approaching kind of the Deer Valley area. 7th Street is just to the east of I-17, and there are some pockets of really heavy rain showing up on the radar right now as they're driving through it, and also some of that dangerous lightning as well.
And it almost looks, Chris, as though, originally I thought that maybe the second system would be moving towards the same path as the first system through, the North Scottsdale, kind of towards Fountain Hills, Cave Creek area. But this is kind of staying more towards the West Valley, it looks like, central to West Valley.
Yeah, pretty much almost a straight south to north trajectory on these things. So the first one moving south to north, kind of affecting more the east side. This one more kind of like the central corridor, a little bit of the West Valley. Now, if you're in Buckeye, you're kind of missing out on this. El Mirage, Surprise, Sun City West, not getting a whole lot of rain out of all of this, but boy, there are some really heavy downpours coming through parts of the valley right now. And as we zoom out, you can see the West Valley, Litchfield Park, Avondale, nothing is showing up right now.
Yeah, and you can see downtown Phoenix. I thought we were kind of done with the rain for the most part, but this is eerie, Chris, just looking out at the skyline there and just still those dark clouds, even though we're pretty much done with the rain, it seems as though, it doesn't, aside from the drops on the lens, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of activity happening.
We do have a couple of isolated little showers you can see on the radar there just to the south of downtown, but yeah, the main event, so to speak, is probably done with downtown Phoenix at this point. Just some little bit of rainy leftovers for the downtown area, and extending up into, let's call it Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Camelback Mountain, Piestewa. And then as we go down farther to the south, where all of this came up from, Maricopa, Sun Lakes, Gila Bend, there's just nothing. And a lot of times when we get this, if we get it early in the afternoon, it kind of works over the atmosphere and it stabilizes things. And thunderstorms thrive in an unstable atmosphere where if air is, if it gets a kick upwards and it wants to keep rising and builds into these towering clouds and showers and thunderstorms. But if we get a lot of rain and a lot of overturning of the atmosphere, that kind of stabilizes things, and it just won't build up into anything else. So early rain, early to start, early to finish.
Yeah. Okay, let's give you a look right now from one of our South Mountain cameras here that shows. Now you can see Camelback Mountain, where earlier within the past hour you could not even make the outline of Camelback Mountain. So obviously this system moving in a north direction, just north of Camelback Mountain, out more towards the West Valley. But boy, what a system. What a 1-2 punch that just, came in and moved out very quickly. But still, as we head towards the West Valley here off the 101, you can tell that there is still a lot of the system still left over from this second system that's kind of, just drowning out the West Valley in the Peoria, in the Glendale area. Cars just slowing down here. It's been very, very flooded streets, very wet, saturated roads here. And, it makes for a very dangerous situation if you have to be out on the roads.
And I do have an update on Sky Harbor Airport. The ground delay, now they're not in a ground stop, but the delays, and the average delay is just less than an hour. So if you're flying in and out of Sky Harbor, maybe getting some folks that are coming in from out of town, just know that there will be delays at the airport as well as on the roads as long as this stormy weather hangs around. Still getting a lot of lightning through central Phoenix, and we'll be working to update the power outage numbers as soon as we get them. We'll pass that along to you just to let you know that APS and SRP, they're going to be working overtime with this because lightning and the gusty wind and the rain, it all kind of does a number on the power lines. So
yeah, well, at last check, there were over 6,000 people, APS customers, without power. So we'll do another check on the numbers there. But again, as we give you a live look to the left here, that is the road conditions off the 101. And then to the right, you can see the radar, this second system just moving, making its way from the west and moving its way up to the northwest area. So we're going to continue our live coverage of this big storm system, actually two of them that's moved through the valley. And we're going to take a break right now, and we will be right back.